SANDCAST, beach volleyball with Travis Mewhirter and Bourne, presented by Marriott Vacation Club Rentals and brought to you by volleyballmag.com. The first major FIVB event of the year is in the books, so a huge congrats goes out to Americans Phil Dahlhauser and Nick Lucena, who took it home in straight sets and, in my opinion, clearly established themselves as the best team in the world. And I would love to discuss that with anyone who disagrees. We have a bonus guest today. We have Theo Brunner, who took fifth place with John Hyden, despite not really being able to train at all in the past, 70 or 80% of the offseason because of a bum ankle that he sort of re-injured prior to Fort Lauderdale, and then he sprained his other ankle in his first week of training in Fort Lauderdale. So he was kind of gimpy, still came out in fifth, had a really fun match with Taylor Crabb and Jake Gibb to get to the quarterfinals. Tough go against Brazil in the quarters. We're up 13-10, ended up losing 15-13, but it is a pretty tremendous Brazilian team, and a fifth place with a new partner in John Hyden after missing out the majority of the offseason due to that ankle injury. Not the worst result at all for Theo. So a huge congrats to Phil. Congrats to Theo and Hyden for taking a fifth in a major that is a pretty excellent result. And huge congrats also goes out to medalists Summer Ross and Brooke Sweat. Now, me and Tri were not together for this one. This is probably the last one that we'll be separated for a while. Tri was down in Fort Lauderdale. I was hanging back, finishing up the Olympic coverage with Yahoo. So it is just me and Theo for this one. As always, a shout out to our sponsors, Marriott Vacation Club Rentals, volleyballmag.com, Rocks Volleyball, and Wilson. I know that they were playing with the Micassas down in Fort Lauderdale, but soon enough we'll be on the AVP playing with Wilson. So enjoy our conversation here with Theo Brunner.
Phil actually looks like, he's blocking balls like the old Phil. So they're pretty damn scary when he's doing that.
Yeah, no kidding. So you're on your way back now?
We're actually heading to Qatar.
Oh, okay. Who else playing in that one? I haven't looked at the entry list.
So it's I think Nick and Phil are going unless they pull out after they won this one. But yeah, Phil and Nick, Jake and Taylor, me and John, and then Billy Allen and Ryan Doherty.
Okay.
They won the country quota, so they're going to be the 14th.
Okay. Good deal. That's a good representation over there. What kind of event is it? Is it 3, 4?
It's a 4-star.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my first time over there, so I think they have a pretty nice facility. I don't know much else about it, but yeah, it should be good. I think we play night matches because it's too hot during the day.
Oh wow! Even in I guess is it summer over there right now?
I have no idea. I think it's pretty damn hot there right now.
Yeah.
So I didn't even check the weather though. I assume it's 100 plus during the day.
Oh geez, so good thing you're playing at night. I guess did you get any night matches in Fort Lauderdale?
No, actually, we would have had one if I didn't blow it in the quarters, because then we would have played, I think, 7:15. So
okay,
yeah, that was a bummer because it was so hot. I was like, God, I wish we had night matches. Like it would be so much better.
Yeah,
and we almost had one.
Yeah, what was the the temperature over there? Because it looked pretty breezy. So I don't know. It didn't look like excruciatingly hot over there.
No, it's just I think it was. Let's see, usually around between 80 and 85. It was pretty humid, but then it was mostly on stadium. On stadium, it gets hot because there's not a lot of wind.
Right.
If it's anything less than 15 miles an hour, it's like a little bit of swirl. But yeah, and then there's no umbrellas or anything. So in between and timeouts and stuff, you're just baking in the sun, which is kind of tough. And then just being the first tournament of the year, I don't think it would have been that bad if this was June, July, and it was those temperatures. I'd be like, oh, whatever. But yeah, and it seemed like pretty much everybody was struggling a little bit with the heat.
Okay, and I guess it's still early, so I don't know if anybody's in peak shape just yet.
Yeah, I think not from what I saw. So,
so yeah, tell me about, I guess, just your expectations coming in. I know that you haven't really been able to practice much, right? Because of that ankle.
Yeah. Firstly, I was just happy to be able to play because I was actually getting I was kind of concerned because I did like a mild re-injury of the ankle a few weeks ago.
Oh man.
But then I just got on the USOC health insurance for this year, so I was able to get in and get a quick MRI and X-ray of my ankle. So I was doing that like 4 days before I took off for Florida, and I was kind of like half prepared for like, oh, you can't play, like you might need surgery or something like that. So yeah, firstly I was just happy to play, and then once I got there, I actually sprained my other ankle when we were training the first day. And I was like limping on that one too. So I was like, this is ridiculous. And like, especially I'm here to not get last place. Cause like, I feel so out of shape. Like I haven't been able to train, past, 70, 80% all year. Like I have no idea what this tournament's going to bring. And I was like, I'm just going to, give my absolute best, battle it out and, live with the results. And then it ended up, being great. Like we did pretty well, battled through some tough matches. And then probably our easiest match, we ended up not winning. So it's kind of like a bizarre tournament in that way. But yeah, I was able to make it through. I was taking lots of anti-inflammatories and putting like a topical anesthetic on my ankle, and it felt pretty good. So I had no good excuse with that.
And then, and on top of all that too, you have a new partner. So like, had you and Hyden really been able to sort of work things out just in terms of just running an offense and just like where you guys won each other's sets, or were you guys still working out kinks as the tournament went along?
Well, we still haven't figured out where he wants his set because he got like 8 serves in the tournament.
True.
But we're working it out, and even like with my limitations, it's still been great to see. He and Evie, they like doing kind of more individual practices without other teams. And we have all sorts of stuff we can do without me, having a max jump, and sprint all over the court. So we have been working it out. I've been kind of getting his transition set down, and we're just kind of developing the system, and he's teaching me his ways. So yeah, I've despite, not being able to train 100%, I've been learning a lot, and we've been improving our team dynamic for sure.
Yeah, and then so you guys come out, and Gavira and Herrera have been around. They've been around for like a million years. I feel like they've been playing together for forever, and they can still ball. They looked really good against you guys. Were you at all surprised by how good they still are at this point?
No, I'm not. They're so good, and I think Adrian's not too old. And I think Pablo even, like, he's been out for so long, but I feel like he's still like early to mid 30s or something, maybe mid 30s. I could be wrong on that, but
I just feel like I've seen their names like just nonstop.
Yeah. Yeah. They're always up there. They always play really good, especially early in the tournament, because they're just bangers. Like they hit the shit out of the ball all the time. Yeah. But historically, I've matched up well against them, so I didn't mind that matchup. But then, so this tournament, I just couldn't block a ball to save my life. And that against that team, like, John's not going to dig those cannons that they have. So it's pretty much up to me to get some blocks and force them to do something else. And Pablo just bounced balls to angle in my face the entire day. So I was like, after that match, I was like, all right, like, hope we can turn this around. I'm not feeling too confident. So
I was wondering I don't know if you guys made any adjustments, or what was that discussion like after that match prior to you guys playing Austria for, win and you move on, lose and you're out?
It's pretty, the modified pool play, it's tough because, especially with USA Volleyball, like we need to win that match to get our travel stipend, have a chance to move on in the tournament. Going 2-0 when I had like a bunch of family watching is pretty brutal. But, we were just trying to control what we could control. We knew that we both served pretty poorly against Spain. So we were like, all right, let's ratchet up the serving. I'm going to try and be like, even if I'm not skying on the block, I'm going to try and be in their face a little bit more and make them, not let people just fucking hit in our face. And then I was just going to try and steady out. I was trying to just hit too much. I think maybe because my ankle was actually functional, I was like getting a little excited and trying to spike everything. And Pablo was just jetting me. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to stay relaxed, move the ball around, make them make a play, stay up in their face on the block. We're going to serve tougher, and we'll just live with the results from there. it worked out. Yeah, we were able to kind of steady out and get the W.
Yeah, and so then you moved on, and you had 4 matches in a row that went the distance, and then 2 of them that went, well, I guess Pedro and George was 15-13, but you had Jake and Taylor that went 18-16. You had the Canadians that were 15-11 in the third, and then Pedro and George was 15-13. So it seems like you guys have such a high ceiling that you show at times. Like that second set against Jake and Taylor, you guys played so well, and same with the third. And then that first one against Pedro and George, you guys played really well too. And then it seems like there are kind of like lapses sometimes too. So I guess what happens when there's just that little inconsistency between you guys playing some really, really high level ball and then kind of having a 21-11 set right in the middle?
I'll be honest, that set and some of the sets, like I said, like I'm normally pretty on top of like the conditioning and, probably do too much in the off season as far as like I'm running all the time before practice in the gym, on the curve, treadmill, like running up the sand, doing all this stuff. And I just couldn't do any of that this year. So like I knew I was in bad shape, and there was a few times where like I was just struggling to catch my breath and get my heart rate down. And I was like, dude, you're probably not going to win this set. Like just kind of collect yourself, get a rhythm going. Cause that's how it is because even some of the teams we were playing, like Ben Saxon on Canada, I think Jake even was a little gassed in our game. It's just hot and humid out there. So like if you're gassed, to the floor the entire match, even if you're in really good shape, it's not going to be the best result for you, unless, maybe you're 22 and a specimen. But yeah, so I was just trying to conserve. And when things were getting out of hand, I was like, all right, like I'm not, jumping max and trying to slam this ball. I'm just trying to conserve so I can get up on my block and, side out consistently the next game. So that's kind of my attitude. Probably not the best, always attitude to have, but it's kind of what I had to deal with.
You're listening to SANDCAST, beach volleyball with Bourne and Travis Mewhirter, presented by Marriott Vacation Club Rentals and brought to you by volleyballmag.com. Volleyballmag.com is your daily digital news source for all things volleyball, from NCAA women and men to beach volleyball on all levels to international and more. Volleyballmag.com, the only media outlet that covers our sport on all fronts every day. This podcast is also brought to you by Marriott Vacation Club Rentals, which offers the best vacation accommodations in the world's best vacation destinations. Wherever you travel, Florida to Fort Lauderdale for the first major in February, or to the Outrigger Canoe Club in Hawaii. Europe to California, choose to rest in our luxurious guest rooms, suites, or villas for your next getaway. The villas offer all the comforts of home, including a full kitchen, living and dining area, and separate bedrooms. Stay with the Marriott name you know and trust. Book big spaces in great places today. Visit www.mvcrentals.com. Yeah, and I feel like, at some point, it is sort of a strategic thing, because say you're down 5 points against Pedro Solberg, that's a pretty big deficit to climb back from if it's, say, like in the middle or late in the set. So you might as well just conserve it. Did you and John talk about that? Like at what point? Like at what point are you just like, all right, well, let's just basically mail it in, conserve energy, and then get them the next set? Like, if you guys had that talk.
I don't like the term mail it in.
Right.
It's delaying your greatness, I guess. Go with that.
I like that.
No, it's like, and honestly, normally if I'm down 5, but normal circumstances, I'm feeling good. I feel like I can come back against anybody. And that's especially with John and I, like, I feel like our D can be really good, but that just wasn't the case this weekend. Like I was probably some of the worst blocking I've ever done in my life as far as like an entire tournament's worth. So when we got down, I was like, well, I'm not bringing us back in here, and I'm not not feeling real comfortable on the side out. I'm not scoring with my serve. So yeah. And then, anytime I could feel my heart rate be like above 160, I was like, all right, this is critical. And I've played so many tournaments in the heat. I think it was Todd Rogers actually that taught me like, hey man, it's hot. You got to keep that body temperature, that heart rate down. Cause if you cross a certain limit, no matter how hard you try, you're going to be bad. So
that's why he's the professor.
Yep.
But that match with Jake and Taylor, that was one of my favorite ones to watch. That third set, so you guys build up this a 14-11 lead, and then I think one of the toughest things to do is when you have that 14-11 lead, right, and you have 3 match points, and they bring it back to 14-14. I think one of the toughest things to do is to rally and win it. So how did you have to like reframe your mindset, or just have a reset, or what did you do to kind of keep yourself in that match to end up winning 18-16?
Yeah, it's tough because at 14-12, I think this actually happened a little bit in both matches. I kind of maybe like, you start thinking, and I was like, all right, it's 14-12. I'm going to get up, hopefully John puts me up on the net. I'm going to take a good high, hard swing that I know isn't going to get blocked. I'm going to force them to make a play. And unfortunately, I think I took 2 decent swings that maybe Jake touched and they made plays and scored on us on. So that backfired. One of them, we even had a free ball, and I couldn't decide to, take it above or below my chest, and it just hit me in the chest and went down. But yeah, I mean, yeah. So I had that approach for those 2 points, and then I was like, all right, fucking, Taylor, he's like a cat out there running everything down off the block. So I was like, all right, screw it. I'm going to change it up. I'm not taking like a high consistent swing. I'm going to just be a little bit more terminal, and make them, either Jake's going to make a sick block move and jet me, or I'm going to get a side out. And so I think I hit one a little bit sharper at 15 to make it 15-14. And then started to feel a little bit, better from there. But that was a big one. Once they tied it up at 14, I feel like, if I was seeing the bet statistics, that they would have the best chance to win at that point. Because I've been a part of those kind of comebacks. And once you tie it up, like you feel all the confidence in the world, like you just escaped. So yeah, that was a tough one to grind through and get the win, but it felt really, really good. But yeah, I knew if we could just hang it at deuce, that I'm usually good for a block. And, if you give me 2 or 3 chances at match point, I'm usually good to get one there. So
yeah. And then sort of a similar thing happens against Brazil. You guys are up, I think 13-10 or 13-11. So what ended up kind of going wrong there? And sorry for making you kind of go through that again.
Yeah, no, I've been reliving it the last 24 hours.
I can imagine. So, I guess what have you learned from it? Just kind of replaying that. What would you have done differently, I guess, if anything? I mean, sometimes Brazil's a really good team, and sometimes they just make good plays.
Yeah, I mean, they made I went back and watched the video. They did make a couple good plays. I think we had a chance to go up maybe 14-10 or 14-11 on John served it. It was a bad set, and George stroked it from 10 feet off the net and hit the very back part of the tape on the end line. So they definitely made some plays, but there was a couple swings. Yeah, I kind of had the mindset. I was like, all right, it's a little windy. The sets are blowing off the net. I'm just going to do a good shot and make them work for it. Again, this is probably what got me in trouble in the other game. So yeah, I think I should have just been a little bit more terminal there at the end. I think one of the sets blew off. I went for the cut shot, which was open. I just hit it in the net. Another one, I kind of wanted to do the low line, which was also open, but I just hit it into Pedro. So yeah, I think I tried to maybe be a little too cute at the end there. So that's kind of like a clear lesson to take forward is, just get up big, be aggressive, make them make a good play and not give them a chance for an easy point.
Right. And so, I mean, you still ended up in 5th, which coming into a tournament where you hadn't been able to train much, you were just happy to be able to play. And I know that kind of going out on such a sour note is sort of tough to reflect on, especially so soon. But when you look back upon it, I mean, is 5th is that a good result for you right now? Did you want more? Is that about what you expected? Yeah,
I mean, given the way it all shook out, it's super painful. And, we pretty much just about had our ticket punched to the semis. But in retrospect, if you would have told me before the tournament, hey, you're going to get 5th, I would be like, I don't know about that. I don't even know if my ankle's going to make it through. I haven't been able to side out at practice, with a max jump or anything like that. So yeah, notwithstanding how we went out, it was a good result for us, given the situation, like hands down, being our first tournament together, and me not being able to train and lift like I normally do.
Yeah. And I mean, you still beat, Jake and Taylor, which I don't know if points wise are a number 2 team, but I think if you polled most beach volleyball fans, that would probably kind of land in at number 2 between, after Nick and Phil. So, I mean, yeah, you had a couple good wins on the resume there. And just in terms of sort of the state of Brazil volleyball, I mean, just looking at them, like Pedro and George had to come out of the qualifier. I think Alvaro, who won last year, I think he got knocked out in the qualifier. And then you have Evandro and Andre, and you just have, I mean, they're stacked. I mean, how good and deep is Brazil right now? And is the U.S. like kind of in trouble a little bit?
We're definitely behind right now. I think we have the best team at the moment with Nick and Phil. But as far as the depth, I mean, they have, 5 really strong teams. And we're not at 5. I mean, there's a little bit of a drop off after Nick and Phil to the rest of us, but I don't think we're far off. And I don't think that their men is as strong as their women is, because they have some great teams, but they don't have like the Alex and Bruno at their peak was like that good. And I don't think Evandro, Andre are quite as good as he and Pedro were consistently yet. But obviously they're the team to beat right now. They're the country at the top of both men's and women's beach volleyball in terms of depth and overall skill. So it's impressive. And, they have to do it, feet to the fire to get through the country quotas and win tournaments. So it's pretty cool to see, actually.
Yeah, and I haven't really gotten to see much of Allison and Bruno. So I don't know if you got to watch them, but it seems like they're kind of in like a little bit of a funk just after that gold medal. I mean, I don't think that they even qualified for the World Championships last year. So what have you seen from them, if you have watched them at least?
I caught a little bit in Fort Lauderdale. It's hard to say. I mean, to me, Bruno still looks like amazing.
Right.
But I think they're both not just quite as tight and focused as they were during that run. But it's a combination. They had some good moments last year. I'd say maybe Alisson sometimes is looking a little bit slower than he did during that big run. From what I hear, I think he had some trouble siding out in this tournament in the win. I mean, he's such like a big, strong dude that I think if he's not, at 110%, then he tends to struggle because he doesn't really have the 80% shot game. Like he's just hitting the absolute bejesus out of the ball every single time.
Right.
So, but I have no doubt, if they're going for the next Olympics, that they're going to be in phenomenal shape and be, one of the teams to beat going into it. No doubt at all.
Right. And is 2020 something that you and John have discussed?
No, I know John's just taking it a year at a time. So I would guess if we do super well and he's feeling great, that would be something we talk about. I'm, I don't know. It's kind of all the avenues it's hard to predict where everything's going to shake out now. But, I mean, that's since I switched to beach, that's been my dream since I was a kid to go to the Olympics, and actually ended up probably having a pretty good shot in 2016 until, I got dunked for the superior player by Nick, which, I get. But that kind of, ruined my chances for that one. So I'm pretty dead set on just, no matter what, learning as much from John as possible. And then if he's still balling, going with him. If he's going to call it quits, see what my options are. So.
Yeah. And hey, I mean, 5th place, that's a good little points bump, especially since you finished 2nd of the Americans. So that definitely puts you guys in a good position moving forward.
Yeah. Now that it's 4 out of 6 that they're counting, that's good for us. And I think I was losing maybe like a 25th or something. So definitely a boost for me.
Yeah, that's solid. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. Safe travels. Are you coming back to California before you head off to Qatar? I don't know what the timeline for everything is.
No, we're going like straight there. So I'm flying to Newark now, Newark to London, London to Doha. So we're there for a week and then back to LA. And then we're back. I think we have like a month and a half before the next tournament. So we'll have a nice little break.
Okay, nice. And then is Huntington your next stop after Qatar?
I think it might be Xiamen.
Okay.
But ideally, I think if we do well in Qatar, then it doesn't become necessary to play. We'll have to look at the point situation. But yeah, it may not be necessary for us to go because yeah, the 4 stars financially aren't super worth it, especially like somewhere like China, you might have to pay extra out of pocket.
Right.
So yeah, our whole goal is like, if we can do well enough in these 2 tournaments and be in good shape, and then we can kind of skip the 4 stars that conflict with AVPs, play all the AVPs. But yeah, we'll just kind of play it by ear.
Okay. All right. Well, safe travels then. That's quite the jumping that you're going to be doing from here till then.
For sure.
So rest that ankle up and good luck out there, bud.